Hello everyone, this is Collins Microsystems again, and today we're gonna learn we're gonna look an in-depth, we're gonna take an in-depth view of, in-depth look of what really is an Arduino microcontroller. What is an Arduino? For those who don't know what an Arduino is, now this is the video for you. I'm gonna try and explain what an Arduino is. I'm gonna try and explain how it relates to the real world applications and all that. So yeah, let's get to it, man. Well, what's really an Arduino? Okay, great. So most people know Arduino as a microcontroller, and then what really is a microcontroller? Okay, yeah. So that's what we're gonna look at today. So if you Google microcontroller, yeah, according to this site, microcontroller is a compressed microcomputer manufactured to control the functions of embedded systems in office machines, robots, home appliances, motor vehicles, and a number of other gadgets. Yeah, that's a good definition of what a microcontroller really is, right? So, have you, if you're at home, probably you've seen, let's do like a microwave, right? A microwave, there's always like a display that's there and then some buttons. So this display is what will show the time, and it will also do some countdown on when this thing, I mean, the food's gonna warm up and all that time. So you have to set the time, and then these are just like a display. These are just it's an interface that you interact with through the buttons, right? But then you're interacting directly with a microwave. Okay, yeah. Let's look at a microwave, for example, right? So this is a microwave. Normally you see that there's always a display, and then all these buttons, so you are interacting. So there's some form of a computer inside here which you're gonna use these buttons to interact with the microwave. Okay, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, and then if you look at, for example, another example is a microwave. There's always all these appliances like a thermostat. Yeah, the thermostat also, these digital thermostats, it allows you to set the temperature, and then you interact with it through this knob here where you set your temperature, and then it's gonna make sure that the temperature doesn't go beyond something. So what it does, it measures the room temperature and the one and compares it against the one that you've already set in the inside there. So if it's greater than that, it stop warming the room, or stop warming the room. Okay, then it maintains that. So if it drops, it start warming, and then it sort of like maintains that. It's a simple computer that does that. There's a computer inside there. There's a chip inside there. There's something inside there that's responsible for this. Responsible for this, that checks the temperature and then compares again the temperature that of the room. Okay, so that's basically what a microcontroller. So a microcontroller is the machine, is the computer that is inside here, that makes sure that this thing is doing whatever it's supposed to. There are a lot of things that these things can do, so you can only imagine all these devices that you can make with this. This is just a simple example. Even fridges, they have like sort of like a thermostat that checks all these things. And then, so if you imagine out of household items we have in agriculture, you can create a system that you know checks the soil moisture, like an irrigation system, automated one. So it kind of checks the moisture content of the soil. If it drops a little, it turns on a pipe, I mean like a pump, and then pumps in water to the farm, and then if it moisture content comes to a certain level, then it stops the pump. It just sort of like maintains this thing. You can set it up in an I need a greenhouse, which this microcontroller is gonna check whether the temperature is, it checks all these conditions: temperature, humidity, all these things. So this is basically what a microcontroller is. It's that small computer that can automate simple tasks like these ones. You can do all kinds of things with it. So an Arduino is a type of microcontroller which you can program. You have to program it. You have to like give it instructions of what it's gonna do. Okay, so my Arduino is a type of microcontroller. So what kinds of microcontrollers do you have out there? These are, you can just Google these things. Okay, microcontrollers. Okay, so different types of microcontroller programming. There's a PIC microcontrollers, there's ARM microcontrollers, there's 8051 microcontrollers, AVR microcontrollers. So yeah, there are all kinds of microcontrollers out there. There's a lot, and then most of them you have to program them. So okay, so according to this site, I'm gonna try and briefly explain what each and every microcontroller like types. For example, an PIC microcontrollers, okay, stands for peripheral interface controller. It's kind of like a microcontrollers developed in electronics. They have all these features which are somewhat similar to all these other one. There's an ARM microcontroller. So in case you don't know, you can just Google it. Controller. It's a family. Okay, there are different families of microcontrollers. This PIC one is also a different family which you can program them with any programming language that you want, like in C++, Python. You can program. So PIC microcontrollers are mostly programmed with micro C programming language, which is basically just a C programming language. And then there's all this syntax, and then they all come with different advantages and different disadvantages. Okay, so like these ones, they are famously known for using like a microwatt. They use very little power. So in case you wanted to make something that consumes less power, like you wanted to stay for a long time, you're consuming a lot of power. So these are the considerations that you make. A PIC microcontroller is a great option too. Then there's an ARM microcontroller. ARM microcontrollers, they are known for their power, and they are known for their energy saving capabilities, and they are very powerful. Even I can confidently say like all types of mobile phones have an ARM processor of some kind running inside there, like ARM chips. So it's open source. I'll do a series, a video of describing what microcontrollers, because it's a whole new world out there of microcontrollers. And then there are ARM computers. I can give you an example. Raspberry Pi. Let me check. Cortex something. It uses an ARM Cortex something. Yeah, ARM Cortex A72 processor. It's sort of like a computer. It's very powerful, but it consumes less power. Okay, another type of microcontroller that we have, it's 8051. This was created by Intel back in the day. It's very old, like it was 1981. These are kinds of the first microcontrollers that came into market. Yeah, there are these with ARM. You program them with C as well. This one also you can program them with C, even assembly. ARM microcontrollers as well, you can do them with assembly and all these things, because with microcontrollers there's no operating system between you and the hardware, so you kind of like flipping the bits literally. You have to set registers and all those kinds of things. So I'll do a video of the internals of all these things, so you get a better understanding of what's going on. So 8051 are kind of old. Then let me show you how they look like. 8051 controllers. Okay, so they're pretty big. 8051. These ones are pretty big, and then they're pretty old as well. So you can do all kinds of things with it. But yeah, I don't know if anybody uses them nowadays, but they are very hard to program and all that kind. So those are pro microcontrollers. Okay. The next thing is 8051 microcontrollers. Okay, AVR microcontrollers. Sorry. So AVR, all advanced risk processor. These are also this is what Arduino is based off of actually. Yeah, they are this family of microcontrollers as well, which are, they're pretty, you can program them with C. They're pretty common as well. And Arduino is most of the common types of Arduino, because Arduino is just like a platform. You can install an Arduino platform in any other type of microcontroller, but this one is the most common one. They're at Mega 328p, they're at Mega 168, those kinds of things. That Mega chips is coming from AVR. Then there's also MSP. There are all kinds of microcontrollers out there. So just know that Arduino, most of like an Arduino Mega or an Arduino Uno, it belongs to the family of AVR microcontrollers. So you gotta program them with C or assembly, but the Italian dudes created a much simpler language of programming. That's why they are so common nowadays. You don't have to you don't have to get the data sheet to understand what it does. Okay. Yeah. So today we're gonna look at what exactly. So Arduino is like a platform of programming. So it's sort of like it's a programming language as well, and then that you can use to program the microcontroller with. It's somewhat like C++, or C, or kind of, but it's pretty easier. You don't have to set the registers. You don't have to worry about the watch, the timers, and all that. Everything is like preset. You just get into the code and then you just start doing your thing. Sort of like Python, where you don't have to. Python is funny because you don't have to like declare variables and all those stuff. So that's an Arduino. So today we're going to concentrate mostly on the internals of it, as we get deeper and deeper into what it is. So I'm going to use this. So this is an Arduino Mega, as you can see. These are all the parts. Okay, these are microcontroller. I told you like it was at Mega 2560, and this is like an AVR based chip, which you install the Arduino platform into it, and then you can program it with Arduino. So you gotta before you program with Arduino, you just have to install the bootloader into it, and then it will allow you to do all your things. So from this diagram, this is a sample Arduino Mega. You have all these are serial communication pins, RX, TX, receiver, transceiver pins, and then these are PWM outputs, which are also digital pins. This SD and ACL, it's for I2C communication protocol. Don't worry about that right now. This is the reset button. This is ICSP pins. Okay, I can also see the 3.3 voltage regulator. And there's a fuse, the 5 volts regulator. That's how Arduino is capable of handling 3.3 and 5 volts as well, because of all these regulators. Yeah, so these are all analog inputs and outputs as well. So you can do all kinds of things. And there's a USB connector and all this. So let's get into the features. Let's say an Arduino Mega. Let's get into the features of it. It's based on a Mega 328, Mega 2560, which is a bit powerful. It's got all these 54 digital input and output pins, and then it's got like 16 analog inputs compared to Arduino Uno. There are like, I don't know, 7 something. Yeah, there's a USB connection, power jack, USB header, all these kinds of things, that you can use. So these are the features. It operates at normally 5 volts. You can also, yeah, that's the input voltage. Below that, it's not gonna work. Digital pins are 54, like a 16. Okay, then the current that he uses is 40 milliamps. That's pretty much, because microcontrollers normally use a lot less power compared to other computers. These are just mini microcomputers. Okay, 50 milliamps, and it's got like flash memory of 256 kilobytes, of which 8 KB is used by the bootloader that I already told you about. So we'll do another video of describing what the bootloader really is. Then there's an SRAM of 8 KB, EEPROM of 4 KB, and the clock speed, which is the speed of the board, at 16 megahertz. Pretty good, not bad. Yeah, so that's the Arduino Mega. Okay, yeah, then it's got all these features, which I'll link all these things to the description so that you can get a deeper understanding of what the features of mostly the Mega. This is just about the Arduino Mega. So we were talking about the Arduino. What really is so Arduino is, like I said, it's a platform. And funny thing, it's not only limited to these boards like the Arduino Uno or Mega, or all these things. It's not only limited. Nowadays, you can even program STM32 with Arduino. You can set up on Arduino. This, for those who don't know, this is a blue pill STM32 microcontroller. It's an ARM-based microcontroller. So initially I said that the ARM is a family of microcontrollers. So STM32 is one of the ARM-based microcontrollers. It's really powerful. Actually, it's got all these features, and the best part is you can just use Arduino to program it. It's fully supported now. You can just set up an Arduino Uno in here, and then boom, you're good to go, and you can make some really powerful projects using this. Yeah, another thing that Arduino is also good at is Internet of Things. I don't know if you know what IoT is. In case you don't know, let's look. So IoT describes physical objects that are embedded with sensors, processing capability, and other technologies which are connected to the internet. It's like you have an Arduino and then you somehow connected to the internet. Let's say you've created a project where Arduino can read temperature of the environment, like the one that are really done in the videos. You can go through it. You'll see how to connect a DHT22 temperature sensor. So imagine that the data that you're getting from the sensor is being transmitted back to a cloud, and anybody around the world can just check. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, nowadays there are thermostats which are connected to the internet. There are cars which are connected to the internet. So that's basically what an IoT is. Yeah, so that's basically what an IoT is. So Arduino also is really good with IoT. And then most of the chips that are used with the Arduino platform in IoT space, one of it is called ESP8266. Okay, so it's a low-cost Wi-Fi microchip that's built in the TCP and IP networking software. You see, it's got all these networking features. So the most common name for ESP8266 is Node MCU. Yeah, you check that out. It's very powerful as well, and it does all this cool stuff. You can just connect it to the Arduino, and then you can set up a TCP network communications using Wi-Fi. It's kind of connect to the Wi-Fi as well, so it's pretty powerful. And then the other one is ESP32. Yeah, so ESP32 also has all these amazing features. You can do all kinds of things with this internet of things. So Arduino is also supported, and then in future, as time goes by, we're gonna have to like go through the tutorials of how to build these ESP32 projects using Arduino. Okay, so Arduino is, it's very powerful, it's ubiquitous, it's almost nowadays it's being adopted to everything, because the fact that it's open source, that means there's a huge number of people, a lot of people who are working on it, in introducing many features to it, and then it becomes even easier to use. So my prediction is pretty soon in future, Arduino will be, electronics will be like it will be in everything. You could use it to do all kinds of things. Okay, so yeah, today was an introductory part of what Arduino really is. In case of any questions, you can just drop them down in the comment section. I'll link a bunch of stuff in the description. So yeah, that was an introductory part of what Arduino is. It's just basically a microcontroller, and then it's a Arduino board is a microcontroller, so you can use the Arduino platform in different kinds of microcontrollers. That's what a lot of people don't know. You can use an Arduino in even an ARM-based microcontroller. I don't know if there's a PIC-based microcontroller which uses Arduino. I don't know, but I think somebody out there is trying to mess things up, and probably will have it. So okay, thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Until next time, man. Please like, subscribe, and share as well.